Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Justice Now. My name is Leah Jones, and I am the Education Coordinator here at Virginia Interfaith Power and Light. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get started, I'd like to do a brief land acknowledgement. While we are on a video call and many of us are joining from different places, we want to remind ourselves that we gather on the unceded land of the indigenous peoples. I'm joining in from so-called Richmond, Virginia, and I am currently located on the land of the Powhatan and Chickahominy peoples. If you are unsure of whose land you are on and you would like to find out, you can visit native-land.ca to find out more. So once again, thank you for tuning in this week. The GA 2022 General Assembly session has officially convened. It's underway. I hope you all are tuning in for the first session, for this session, and preparing to take action if you have not already. In this session, especially this year when considering our political climate of Virginia State legislature, it is just so important for us to voice what we want to see and speak to what we want the future of our communities to be, right? So this is our time to show up and act out. So we hope that you all will join us in speaking up and out throughout the entirety of this General Assembly session. So though GA has just begun, we do have a couple of brief updates to share with you all today, including bill numbers and possible committees that these bills will be assigned to, specifically the ones that will be leading on this session. But before we dive in, I just want to share a brief reminder of the overarching policy goals for this session. This session, we are prioritizing policies that, one, protect all Virginians' access to energy, water, and gas utility services in times of crisis. We are also prioritizing policies that strengthen environmental justice statewide by considering environmental justice in our localities and municipalities' comprehensive planning. Three, we are prioritizing policies that protect Virginia's water resources, increase funding towards water infrastructure. And lastly, we are prioritizing policies that support the reduction of greenhouse gases in the transportation sector and advocate for the increased autonomy of transit riders. So all of our policies in some way will be connected to these priorities. Now I guess let's get into the specific updates on our leading policies for this GA session. So first, let's take a moment to talk about our utility disconnections protections bills. Our bills specifically speak to expanding these utility disconnection protections. The first bill has a house number, or has a bill number, and it's in the House currently. Both of our bills, well, all of our bills, starting off in the House. We have HB 664. Our bill patron for this bill, expanding existing medical exemption and delay of service termination. Our bill patron is Delegate Corey. This bill specifically expands protections by extending the existing delay from service termination for serious medical conditions by A, extending this delay to all electric, gas, and water utilities, and B, including households where primary residents are 65 and older, 12 months and under, or who have a disability to delay disconnection by 60 days following the notice of service termination for non-payment. So just extending that time period following a notice of service termination. So delaying your disconnection. This bill also increases the right of a customer to seek delays based on these medical and socially vulnerable exemptions from 2 to 3 times in a year. And this requires utilities to report on the number of delays granted. So that's our first bill. Once again, it's HB 664. The bill again is HB 664, and the patriot for that bill, or the patron for that bill, is Delegate Corey. So please be sure to check that out, and we'll be putting it in the chat shortly, or in the comments section. The second bill that's a part of our utility disconnections bills is HB 1054, sponsored by Delegate Irene Shin. This bill is specifically speaking to disconnection prohibitions during weather extremes and times of crisis. So this bill protects Virginia utility customers, once again, all utilities, gas, electric, and water, by limiting the ability of these utilities to disconnect customers from critical services during extreme weather events or during periods of crisis. It also bans utilities from charging households for disconnecting and reconnecting their accounts, and requires utilities to report on the number of disconnections they pursue every month. So once again, the importance of these bills, it's just really important to take into consideration that Virginia currently has among the weakest utility disconnection protections for customers of any state in the Southeast, specifically including those customers who may be vulnerable or medically compromised. So these bills could be really life-changing or even life-saving for a lot of people. So as far as where we believe these bills will be going, as far as committees, our coalition for both of these bills strongly believe that these bills will be going to the Commerce and Energy Committee. So please be on the lookout for that. Now moving on to our second leading priority this session. The last one for today that we'll be giving updates on is HB 969. This bill is sponsored by Delegate Simons. It's calling to incorporate community health and locality comprehensive planning. So specifically, this bill is just a helpful nudge for localities to include a healthy community strategy in their comprehensive planning process. The bill provides that the locality strategy shall be to identify environmental justice and fence-line communities within the jurisdiction of the local planning commission, and identify objectives and policies to reduce health risks, to promote civic engagement, and to prioritize improvements in programs that address the needs of the environmental justice and fence-line communities. So localities already undertake comprehensive planning every 5 years, and this would be a really good opportunity to delve into and address additional health risks families are facing. So that's something that we're hoping to take away by supporting and prioritizing this bill this session. As far as what particular committee these bills may be going to, or this bill may be going to, we are unsure at the moment, but we are hoping that it is sent to the county, cities, and towns committee. So those are our updates for our bills that we are leading on this session. Please be sure to stay tuned and keep up with us. And to do that, I'm going to now share some other resources with you all so you can stay in the know and keep up with us as we are trying to keep track of these bills within the General Assembly, as in who's supporting, where are they moving to in terms of committees, and what's going on. So in order to stay up to date, an easy resource to use is first and foremost our VIPL policy website for the GA 2022 session. This is a great resource. There you can find everything you need to know for the GA. You can find our fact sheets, the priority bills that we're supporting, and our updating legislative document. There we will have all our information. We will also be having different talking points and sampling comments that you can leave to support these bills that we're prioritizing this session. Another great resource that you can use throughout this session is, of course, our e-news. So you can, and really just signing on to our supporters list so you can receive the e-news, receive all our upcoming action alerts for the GA session. So that is really the perfect way to stay up to date, because it'll be the first way that we'll, or one of the first ways at least, that we'll be getting the word out 2 are supporters, for those who are interested in supporting the bills that we're prioritizing this session. So you can be sure to join us, our supporters list and our email list, at the link I'm sure will be on the screen shortly, at vipl.org/join. We'll be sure to put that in the comments as well on the stream. And lastly, the resource that I already kind of mentioned, but I'll just reemphasize, is our updating legislative document for 2022. There you will find, once again, all of the list of priorities that we'll be prioritizing this session, along with who's sponsoring those bills. And in that document, you will also be able to find our GA 2022 Action Toolkit, which is also going to be ready to go shortly. So these are all resources that you can use throughout this session, and we'll be consistently updating on a day-to-day basis. So please be sure to check out those resources. Now let's talk about actions. I know I've been talking about action in last week's show, and I'm sure in this brief update now even. So what are some actions that you and your faith community, your friends, family, your network can participate in this GA session to show your support? You all can easily write LTEs or op-eds on our policy priorities. If you are interested in doing that, you can contact another VIPL staff person who has been on the show. I'm sure you all know well, Kadeska Bray, at her email to let her know that you are interested in writing an LTE. We're able to put that on the screen, where you can see her email address, to email her and let her know that you are interested in writing an LTE or an op-ed. We also are looking for volunteers as well to help us write more LTEs, write more op-eds, also leave comments, make testimonies in the session when our bills are in committees. So if you are also interested in that, please feel also free once again to contact us here at this email or on our contact us email on our website. So another great way to stay up to date on the bills is using the LIS website. That's where you'll find all the bills coming out of the GA session, and you can see what committees they've gone to, a description about the bill, who's sponsoring, and all that good info. So yes, these are all great resources to keep in mind throughout the session. And we'll be updating constantly as well, like I said, on a day-to-day basis. So lastly, just a couple of announcements that I'd like to share with you all before signing off about upcoming events that we have on the calendar. January 18th, we will be hosting or co-hosting Day for All People, along with our partner organization, Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy. Please attend and register, you along with your faith community. This is a really great opportunity to learn more about the issues, hear from advocates, also participate yourself in lobbying, meet with legislators, and more. So this is and it's all totally virtual now. So it should be easy to join, easy to hop on and attend, and safe, COVID safe. So please, if you are able, please register and join us next week. There we will be hosting 2 separate workshops throughout the day. One, once again, talking about our disconnections policies, and then another talking about equitable transportation. So if you don't want to miss that, please register once again, and we hope to see you all there. I think that's all I have to share this week on as far as updates go for our priority bills. Please be sure to tune in next week and the following weeks to come for more updates, especially as things begin to really pick up in the GA session. Thank you all so much for joining again today, and hope to see you tune in next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.